Hey guys, in this video I'm going to cover Enviro. I hope I'm saying it right. It's a Solana Metaverse project, but really what it is the best damn art gallery slash showcase project that I found, right? So this is a really unique project and I think it has an incredible amount of potential. So I'm going to cover why I like it, some of the little roadblocks I found that led me to initially not look into the projects, but I'm going to tell you why I'm like ultra bullish on these guys. So basically what Enviro is, it's a customizable art gallery, right? But it's also kind of like your metaverse home. So they're not really trying to build a metaverse per se, they're just trying to build that one space where you can showcase your NFTs. You can even stream your, let's say, YouTube, Netflix, Disney, etc. inside Enviro, right? Which is really cool. You can see right here, they're showing you how they kind of are setting that up. So you can see for number one, the graphics just look insane. Number two, this looks like a really cool kind of way to set it up where, yeah, it's basically like a little home. So what Enviro has over other projects is that they're using Unreal Engine 5 and they're really focused on making this the best experience for showcasing your NFTs possible, right? So their whole goal is to build this 3D space with adjustable lighting and really high def kind of graphics, right? So they're really trying to go for this art gallery crowd versus like the whole, we're gonna build this big metaverse thing. It's just one thing that they're focused on. So who's behind Enviro, right? So Enviro essentially started out as this project called Parametrise. They basically released a couple of generative art projects on Solana, and from there the creator of Parametric decided to create this whole parent company called Moduluc, which their website is still under construction, so there's not really much on it except for some blog posts. And if we look at their white paper, you can actually see in the team section, the founder and designer is Ehsan Salari. Again, I'm probably butchering his name. So he's essentially somebody with a bachelor's and master's degree in industrial design, which again goes to show why their level of presentation with Enviro is so high. He's got basically a postgraduate study of digital architecture and a master's in healthcare architecture. So really what he does is he builds digital spaces, right? And you can look at his LinkedIn here, you can see that this guy has a ton of experience, he knows what he's doing. And then other than Ehsan, there's OXDevX. He's not doxed, he's their core developer. He has 15 years of experience, and essentially he's one of the members of the teams that's not doxed. And then they have Dr. Jamian Patel, who's a cardiologist in Florida, and he's been involved in medtech startups and, interestingly enough, a VR AR integrated physician learning company. So he essentially started as a community member and then basically ended up working in operations and really building the project. And then there's Fox Belafonte, who's an advisor and community manager, and essentially has been an artist and art instructor for 20 plus years. There's Daedalus, who's a real life dentist. I don't think he's doxed, but essentially he's helping out the project. It seems like he's just doing certain random tasks around, and then they have a financial advisor. Now, these are the members that are on this white paper. They've actually made some new hires. So the new hires they've made, which I found in their Discord. So first of all is Madi. So he's a seasoned engineering professional with 20 years of experience in programming. He's specialized in blockchain and on-chain data analysis, time series data analysis, regression, trading algorithms. So what he is he's essentially their blockchain engineer who helps integrate Enviro with blockchain and Web3 and to really basically build that whole connection between their 3D environment and the NFT world. So I don't know if he's on LinkedIn, but it does sound like he has kind of the experience. Two other team members they hired in late January are Stefan Deutschel, and so that's a full name. We can go on LinkedIn and look him up. I'm gonna guess this is him. So senior architect and designer, and he has experience with Unreal Engine 3. Yeah, so he's been working with Unreal Engine since 2000. So this guy has a lot of experience with Unreal Engine, so that checks out. The other one is Matthias de Toit. Again, I'm butchering all these guys' name, but he's been focused on VR and AR experiences. and I think he's South African. So let me actually look him up. Yep, so this is him, and he's been working with Unreal Engine for around 4 years, but he's been mostly working with VR and AR experiences for a corporate client. So New Reality South Africa, that kind of seems like basically a real estate company. So these guys have all been working on VR, AR, and digital environments, right? So this is what they're focused on. They're not focused on building this game or a metaverse kind of thing. They just want to focus on building this first thing, which is creating the most amazing looking art gallery possible. And then from there, I think they'll expand out. Their white paper goes into that. But if you look at their white paper, their main focus is on this, right? So they're very clear on what type of project this is. This is not a gaming project per se, right? They may have some integrations, they may have some gaming elements built into it, but the main focus is on art and showcasing the art in a beautiful virtual environment. So, okay, so Enviro is a Solana project. I don't think I mentioned this before, but that's important to keep in mind. So they have low transaction fees. I love Solana for a lot of reasons, but high speed, low transaction fees, and easily accessible on-ramps, right? Now, in this white paper, they talk about their beginnings with Parametrise. And if you do hold Parametrise NFTs, you get their token, basically, which is their utility token. But let's talk about the features of this, right? Let's talk about how Enviro is going to be set up. So the first is light customization. So this looks pretty ridiculously good, right? Like this guy, he has 3 thug birds that he's showcasing, and you can see how they've adjusted the lighting to just make this look incredible based on the background, right? So you can really play around with the lighting, with placement, intensity, color, cast off, and also you have like different times of days and so on. You have professional photographic tools, so you can take really cool photos like this inside the virtual environment. And these tools include ISO, aperture, f-stop settings for screenshots. That's really cool. So they have this daylight system, which I'm excited about. So you can adjust what time of day it is, and it will completely change the feel of the environment, right? So there's just so much to do there. They have essentially the ability to import cross-chain NFTs and local network upload. So you can actually upload a lot of like common image formats, animated GIFs, etc. You can really customize your space. So you have furniture, you have accessories, and you have the option to actually upgrading your environment space with a token, which is PRMS. So that's their utility token. Now there's going to be different global style presets. So this includes flooring, architectural style design, exterior lighting configuration, and more. So there's going to be a base design that's going to come with each NFT, and essentially this is really cool because I can imagine that different kind of environments, right? And people will visit each other's because they're not all the same. Now, this is really cool. They're going to build a particle system. So higher tier Enviro will have an extremely robust and powerful particle system to create mind-blowing visual effects ranging from smoke, sparks, and fire to far more intricate and otherworldly examples such as dust, fog, rain, snow, fairy lights, etc. You can also set up sound effects, music, you'll have like preset camera shots, etc. And really the big thing that you want to keep in mind with this is they're essentially allowing you to customize everything, but you're using their token, right? So they're building this utility token. People are going to purchase and upgrade, and they're going to use this token to do that. So I would actually consider taking a look at their token as well as a potential investment if you're interested in the space. Now, the biggest thing that differentiates Enviro from the other projects out there is quality, right? So one of the expected core demographics of the metaverse are video game players, and they don't like ugly graphics. They expect higher fidelity quality in their environments. And unfortunately, a lot of these metaverse products just look ugly. I have no desire to go in them. So they decided to use Unreal Engine 5 and essentially just make this look ridiculously good. And that is what the differentiating factor is with this project. Things just look incredible, where it's like, if you are an NFT collector, I can totally see a whale just buying the tier 10 and then showcasing all of their NFTs in there, right? This is an actual use case. You actually will want to use their token, you'll actually want to buy their NFT. People aren't just buying this because this is speculation, they're buying this because this is actually really useful. Now, the way they've set up their NFTs is they have an upgrade system, right? So you'll have different tiers of these Enviros, and right now you basically get a ticket, right? So if you go on Magic Eden, you'll have these tickets, and you can get different tiers for different prices. As you can see, tier 1 is only 3.74 Sol, and then if you go into tier 3, it's 17 Sol, right? Now, the way this works is you can upgrade your Enviros, right? So as this comes out, you'll be able to, these tickets will be traded in for an actual Enviro room. And if you want to upgrade to the next level, you need 2 of your tier, let's say 3 Enviros plus 25,000 PRMS. And then you go to the next level and next level. So essentially, what you would have is 10 tiers, and they only sold tier 1 to 3. So you'll have Veils just taking up a lot of these tier 3s because they want to get a tier 10, which will be the most crazy experience ever from what they're talking about. So, and once you do upgrade your Enviros, what happens is they're basically taken back into the smart contract, and there's an auction-based sale for repurchase of these Enviros with default 3D assets, right? So essentially, they basically go back into the supply, and somebody else can buy those burnt or consumed Enviros. Now you can see they have a table here, and essentially tier 3 is when things start getting interesting because you get the particle system, and you get the particle system and local artwork upload. So my goal is to have a tier 3, so I'm actually gonna probably buy another. Well, I might just buy a tier 3 outright, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna aim to get a tier 3 at the least. And then also, the more tiers you have, the more you can display your NFTs. So with tier 3, you can display 10, but then if you have a tier 7, you can display 40. So if you're like a serious art collector and you want like a big space to just show off, you will want to do like tier 7. And then, I imagine other people can come in and you can invite people into your Enviro. So essentially, with the Enviro Pass, this is what's on the market now. This is the Enviro Pass, and then this is tradable in for a tier 3 Enviro NFT. So one thing to keep in mind with Enviro is you do need Windows 10. So I'm actually buying a gaming laptop soon, so I'll have that. And the requirements are pretty heavy, right? You need 16 gigabytes of memory, you need a DirectX 11 or 12, quad-core processor, and a proper video card, right? A GTX 1080 or higher. So this is initially, at least, not going to work with most laptops, most computers. However, they want to basically introduce GPU cloud server and pixel streaming. They want to build Enviro on a high-powered cloud virtual machine. So this is something that's a maybe. They haven't said it's a yes. They're considering it. But then you'll be able to get the full experience on a normal web browser. Now, this is kind of what projects like Render are doing, where they're actually doing this cloud computing. And that's incredibly interesting, right? Like, I have a bag of Render, RNDR, really interesting project. Another big thing to keep in mind is they want to set up cross-chain compatibility so you can showcase your Ethereum NFTs. I would love to showcase my doodles in this, and then the destination NFT as well. So they want to make it so you can actually access this from different metaverses. So let's say that you're inside Sandbox, you could just go to, let's say, from what I imagine, a door, and then you enter somebody's Enviro. So instead of it being its own metaverse, what they're trying to do is integrate with other metaverses, so they become like the best art gallery solution, and then essentially be a part of these other metaverses where people can enter into these Enviros. So there's a lot of potential with this project. They have this utility token called PRMS. So you use this to upgrade Enviros to higher tiers. You unlock advanced special features. You can buy furniture, knickknacks. You can basically, they will reward Parametrize art NFT holders, so they're getting kind of staking rewards for that. And also, if you're contributing to the project as a community member, you also get rewarded with this. So this is their basically token allocation and how it's set up. But yeah, this is a project that's incredibly interesting. Now, their token, I think they have, at this point, the market cap's really low. So if you want to invest in this project without necessarily buying an NFT, you could buy a bag of their tokens, which I might do as well. So guys, let's take a look at their roadmap. So they've already launched their token. They've launched the Parametrize NFTs. They've introduced, they've launched their Enviro Pass, and now what they're working on is they're basically working on building out Enviro, right? So they will have Enviro beta launching sometime soon. I don't know exactly when, but it says Q1 to Q2. They want to purchase land as Decentraland, Sandbox, and other projects. They're going to implement the Enviro upgrade system after they do the Enviro beta. And from there, they're going to essentially build this project out to where people are using it and it releases fully. And they want to kind of collaborate with real life artists and art institutions and other NFT communities. So I do see a lot of potential with how they're developing it. The team is solid. At this point, from what they said, they have 18 members. So obviously those members I talked about, and they clearly are hiring aggressively. The one thing I would say they need to do a better job on is they need to get their website up. They need to keep updating their white paper every time they hire new team members, because right now, this is not the most updated white paper. With this project, it is really a much more longer term hold for me. I don't see much short term price action because this is something where they're just going to keep building. The founder is clearly very serious about this, and the footage we've seen is pretty incredible. So if you look inside their Twitter, they just have a ton of different previews of Enviro. It looks pretty incredible, right? Like, you can see it's taking a little bit of time to upload, to load this photo because of how high quality it is. They also have a lot of videos on Twitter. Yeah, so this is an example of a video. So, just the streaming, the NFT showcasing, it just blows my mind. Like, I want this, and I will spend a few $1,000s on having this, because it's just cool. So that's that's my investment thesis for this. It looks cool. So yeah, guys, that's my brief summary of a project. They also talk about renting. So that's a cool mechanism. So they want to talk about renting out their Enviros, and that's something that they are working on building out. But yeah, they are literally focused on one thing, which is an NFT gallery experience. The team is all-star. The team has incredible in-depth experience on this, so they can execute on this. And yeah, it's not really a traditional metaverse play because they're not trying to build this big metaverse thing. They're just building one part of it, which is art galleries. And yeah, I ended up purchasing a tier 2 Enviro gallery. I think I'm going to purchase another tier 2, buy a bunch of tokens, and upgrade mine. Number one rule of buying NFTs is bet on people. At this point, they've got 18 people, so they do need to do a better job of saying who's on their team and building out their LinkedIn, doing their website. Like, even if it's a short-term website that they get a guy from Upwork to build, it needs to happen, because the reason I didn't invest in this project earlier is because I was confused, because they have Moduluc, which is their parent company, but then the project name is called Enviro, and then they have Parametric. So things are just kind of a mess in terms of the branding and the naming of everything, and as well as the website not being there. The project is amazing, but they just need to do a better job of just having everything in one place, making things clearer, updating their homepage, and that's going to help them a lot, because that's what held me back from buying earlier. And I wish I had, because I could have gotten in at like 1/3 the price. So guys, at this point, I think I'm very bullish. I'm going to invest heavily in these guys. As I keep getting in more cash flow, I plan to have a nice little Enviro bag. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I really do enjoy making these videos for you guys, and let me know what project I should cover next.